bring to you the very latest here at home and across the globe. This is Prime TV News with me, Bhakti Abe Surya. To begin with, let's take a look at the stories making headlines this evening. The Indian Prime Minister giving a strong message on Sri Lanka's stability to the world leaves the island. The Indian Prime Minister ensues discussions with the Sri Lankan President and the Prime Minister. 2 people killed as a bus food board collapsed. Minister Mangala says Samurdhi was highly politicized. In news from overseas, Angelina Jolie urges international support for Venezuelan children. And now for the news in detail. First up in local news, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who visited Colombo today on an invitation extended by President Maithripala Sirisena, held discussions with the President at the President's house in Colombo. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe welcomed the Indian Premier at the Katunayake International Airport. Narendra Modi is the first state leader who visited Sri Lanka after the Easter Sunday attack. It is a significant moment as one of the most powerful state leaders of the Asian region is visiting Sri Lanka, depicting the island nation is a secure place to travel. Prime Minister Modi was ceremoniously received by President Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat. The visiting head of government was accorded a Guard of Honour and 19 gun salutes. President Sirisena, who participated in the swearing-in ceremony of Narendra Modi for his second term as Prime Minister in New Delhi, was the first leader to have bilateral talks with the Prime Minister. President Sirisena expressed his gratitude to Indian Premier for visiting Sri Lanka at a time when the country is reeling under the terrible terrorist attacks. President Sirisena expressed his gratitude to Indian Premier for visiting Sri Lanka at a time when the country is reeling under the terrible terrorist attacks, thus giving a positive signal to the world about Sri Lanka's secure environment. He added that the visit also reflects the strength and trust exists between the two neighbours. The President said that the visit also would be useful to promote Sri Lanka's economic, trade and tourism development. Prime Minister Modi said that the responsibility of friendly and brotherly countries is to help each other when one faces difficulties. He said that he accepted President Sirisena's invitation to visit with joy and India would continue the trust placed on Sri Lanka. Prime Minister Modi also appreciated President Sirisena's programs to fulfill the duties towards all the communities. The two leaders held discussions covering issues pertaining to bilateral relations and regional security, peace and stability. Since both Sri Lanka and India have been victims of terrorism, both the leaders condemned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and decided to set up cooperation in this crucial area. Noting that the relations between the two countries since the ancient times based on mutual trust and respect, the two leaders pledged to further strengthen bilateral ties. Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanked the people and the government of Sri Lanka for the warm hospitality and welcome extended to him and his delegation. President Sirisena hosted a luncheon in honours of the visiting Indian Prime Minister. President Sirisena presented Prime Minister Modi with a photograph taken during the welcome ceremony, together with another photograph of the two leaders taken in New Delhi during the President's last visit. Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Kochikade St. Anthony's Church that was devastated by the Easter Sunday terrorist attack. Archbishop His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Minister Sajith Premadasa and Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Taranjit Singh Sandhu are accompanying the visiting leader. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who concluded the official visit to Sri Lanka, left the island this afternoon. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and key politicians of the government were present at the Katunayake International Airport to say goodbye to the visiting state leader. Visiting Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a discussion with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. During the discussion, the two leaders exchanged views on enhancing bilateral economic ties. The two leaders also spoke about future plans to strengthen bilateral relationships between the two neighboring nations. The discussion also drew attention on counter-terrorism acts and global terrorism. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe discussed about common strategies that can be employed to counter a rising ugly head of terrorist activities in the region. It was a significant feature that the two leaders held their discussion when they were travelling by car. Minister of Finance Mangala Samaravira says Samurdhi movement was highly politicized during the last decades. The minister was speaking at a function held in Mathura. The event was organised to grant Samurdhi benefits to low-income people in the Mathura district under the government's initiative to provide Samurdhi to another 600,000 families island-wide. The minister noted that last governments made use of poverty for their political advantages. 5,000 families come under 16 divisional secretariats in the Mathura district have been selected for the Samurdhi grant. The event was also attended by Ministers Daya Gamage, Sagala Ratnayaka and Deputy Minister Buddhika Patirana. Meanwhile, Minister Mangala Samaravira also visited several Buddhist temples in the Mathura district. He called on chief incumbents of the Walpula Siri Mangala Pirivana, Mahamantinda Pirivana and Velegoda Sudasun Pirivana. The minister inspected the buildings that are being constructed in the temples financed by the government. 3 suspects have been arrested by the police on the charges of demanding ransom of 100 million rupees from the chief incumbent of the Dambulla Raja Mahaviharaya, Venerable Ambagaswava Rahula Thera. The Venerable Thera had lodged a complaint at the Dambulla police on a death threat received over the phone. Accordingly, the Dambulla police has reported the incident to the magistrate of Dambulla and took measures to trace the telephone numbers that had been used to demand ransom and threaten the monk. The arrested suspects are of the ages of 19, 25 and 34 years. They are residents of Inamalua, Kibisa and Dambulla. The culprits are scheduled to be produced before the Dambulla Magistrates Court today. Chief Sanganayaka of Southern Sri Lanka, Most Venerable Pallathara Sumana Jyoti Thera, passed away. The final rites will be held on Wednesday. The Venerable Thera was 95 years old at the time of his demise. Most Venerable Pallathara Sumana Jyoti Thera happened to be the Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna. He had rendered yeoman service to the Buddha Shasana and the Sri Lankan society. The Venerable Thera has played a crucial role in creating a new generation of Buddhist monks in the country. The Venerable Thera was ordained at the Mulkirigala Raja Mahaviharaya in 1941. He has written a range of books connected to Buddhism. Mulagiri Mahavanshaya, Aryashtangika Margaya and Sinhalese grammar have known as outstanding works of the Venerable Thera. He was appointed as the chief incumbent of the Sri Revata Pirivana in Kubalwella in 1982. He was appointed as the chief incumbent of the Sri Revata Pirivana in Kubalwella in 1982. The Venerable Thera had been serving as the Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna since 2012. The final rites will be held at the Samanala Stadium in Galle on Wednesday. 2 people have been killed in an accident took place at the Pahala-Kaduganawa area as a footboard of a passenger bus had collapsed. A SLTB bus belongs to the Matakulia depot plying from Colombo to Kandy had met with the accident. The front footboard of the bus had hit with a construction on the roadside and collapsed as a result. 2 people, including the conductor of the bus, sustained injuries and died when they were admitted to the Kaduganawa and Mavanella hospitals. Minister Patali Champakaranavaka says the country needs a scientific governance system. The minister made the comments addressing the Mahasangha summit which was held at the BMICH in Colombo. He pointed out that the allegations levelled by certain elements of the society that foreign military forces are ready to land in Sri Lanka is totally false. Intellectuals and Mahasangha were speaking about the situation in the country after the Easter Sunday terror attack. The minister highlighted that it is imperative to appoint an operational council to understand the capabilities of the terrorists who attacked the country on Easter Sunday. He also stressed that political differences should be set aside when taking a collaborative action against terrorism. Minister Patali Champakaranawaka stated that a comprehensive security plan should be formulated and monitor activities of the terrorist and the radical groups. Venerable Dr. Omal Sobita Thera said that as a result of the Easter Sunday attack, a serious plan of extremist groups was unearthed. The Venerable Thera noted that if their plans could be materialized as scheduled, the carnage cannot be measured. Chief Prelate of the Amarapura chapter, Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammawasa Thera noted that the Buddhist monks should not be framed as violent and rude groups of individuals at the international level. The Venerable Thera hence urged the Buddhist monks to work with much discipline in the journey of fighting for rights and freedom. State Minister Ajit Peruma stresses that no order has been issued to close down timber mills or carpentry sheds. The State Minister says some quarters are trying to misinterpret the speech made by President Maithripala Sirisena recently. Ajit Peruma highlighted that the President spoke about mobile timber mills that have posed severe threat to the forest cover in Sri Lanka. According to the State Minister, the President has given instructions to issue a gazette notification banning the mobile timber mills. He emphasized that the current fixed timber mills or carpentry sheds will not be made illegal by the upcoming gazette notification. The State Minister also spoke about discussions between opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Muslim leaders. He pointed out that the opposition leader tries to make use of the situation opportunistically. The State Minister was confident that the Muslim leaders were not swayed by Mahinda Rajapaksa's rhetoric. Ajit Peruma explained that the present government believes in openness of governance and information should be reached by the general public. Minister Sajid Premadasa says he is ready to heed the request of the general public. Sajid Premadasa was speaking at the Anuradhapura District Community Habitat Association Members Summit, which was held at the Arthur De Silva Stadium at Nachadua. He stated that burning issues of the people should be addressed immediately. The minister also said that the development activities should be focused on the needs of the people. The minister stressed that he will take the responsibility at the correct time. With that, we wrap up our today's edition of Prime TV News. For details of these stories and for more, you can log on to our website www.itnews.lk. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now and have a pleasant evening.